All right. Well, today's show is going to be called Who Shot JD?
His sister-in-law.
Ben, any ideas?
Well, everybody had motive, but it was his sister-in-law who did it in the end.
No, I say
Are you talking about JR?
No, JD.
JD.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
Well, first of all, JR was shot by his sister-in-law, Mary Crosby.
Why did she do it?
It was a jealousy thing, but they never really got into it. And then, the show went off for like a year and a half because of a writer's strike. And then the next time you saw her, and a year later, or year and a half later, she was like floating in a pool, allegedly.
No, when JR was shot, though, he wasn't shot and killed.
No, he was wounded. Well, they left it as you didn't know, and then the show came back a year and a half later, and he was wounded.
Oh,
and then in the final episode, she comes back to JR in a dream.
In the Dallas reboot, which was very good actually, before Larry Hagman died, they had to kill off JR, so he was once again shot. He was killed, and it became the same sort of thing. Who shot JR? And it turned out he killed himself. Spoiler alert. He killed himself because he was dying, and he wanted to frame his lifelong nemesis. Kercheval was his real name. You know, the guy who played the DA.
See, that's classic. That is classic, Jet. No, but I'm wondering, though, couldn't Jeannie do something to save him?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. You know, Bobby was the good guy, right? Was anybody in their right mind who rooted for Bobby? Bobby Ewing versus JR? I mean, JR was cool. And Bobby Ewing, yeah.
Well, that's not what we're talking about today, okay? I'm talking about it once we had...
Listen, though, if you get a genie, right? You have a genie in a bottle. Why would you try to distance yourself from her all the time?
I'd be sticking my thing in that bottle. Hello?
Exactly.
Hello there.
You get wish after wish after wish. And the first wish is for unlimited wishes.
Yes.
And to see all the children holding hands and singing songs.
That would be great too. And but then you have more wishes. I mean,
and then all power against my enemies.
Same thing with Bewitched. Like, come on.
Well,
your wife does this and anything happens and you're like, oh, trying to hide her? Like, come on.
Well, made the husband, the first husband, disappear.
Well, if Major Healy had found Jeannie instead of Major Nelson, it would be a whole different type of show.
Okay, so can I get back to something like a little bit more important than this, please?
Nothing's more important than TV.
I'm talking about November 22nd, 1963. Jonesy, where were you?
I was just over 2 years old. I was probably living in the south part of Newark somewhere.
Anywhere near Dallas, Texas on that day?
No, but I love Dallas. It was a great show.
Okay, well, I see we came.
Is that the show with JR?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. This is.
Do you remember the Who Shot JR episode? That was classic.
It was his sister-in-law.
This is the Dallas. This is the Dallas show about who shot JD. Okay, but someone else was shot on November 22nd, 1963, in a little place called Dallas, Texas.
JFK.
That's
JFK.
correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
Correct. Now,
okay, wait a minute. So we figured out who JR is, right? And that happened in Dallas. We figured out who JFK is, and we're still trying to figure out who JD is.
JD Tippett, okay, was a police officer, 39 years of age, had been an 11-year veteran on the Dallas Police Department. He was a World War II hero with a Bronze Star, okay, and wife and 3 kids. And he's a police officer who was, for some reason, not in his district at the time of the shooting of JFK. He was in another area, and he comes upon an individual about 45 minutes later that apparently fits the description of someone that they're looking at for shooting of the president. And he stops this man and then is killed by this individual. Who then leaves, Well, was it Oswald? That's the question that comes down with the conspiracy theorists, because there's certain things about the murder of J.D. Tippit that kind of don't make sense. First of all, Lee Harvey Oswald was, if he was the assassin, okay, of JFK, and he's the murderer of J.D. Tippit, he's probably one of the most inept criminals in the history of mankind.
Oh, wouldn't the ballistics prove it? Like, couldn't you like match the ballistics from?
Well, that's the interesting question. First of all, that's a very good point. But J.D. Tippit is shot 3 times in the chest, okay? And then there's a 4th kill shot, okay, execution style, through his head, which is very odd for someone who gets into a gun battle with the police department. Because usually if you're going to be in a fight with a police officer, you shoot him and then you run, for the hills. He took the 4th shot, was an execution shot to the head. He then leaves the spent cartridges there and tosses them away, okay, and then takes off and is eventually, if it is Lee Harvey Oswald, captured at the movie theater, okay, because
what was playing?
I don't remember what was playing. I used to know that answer, and I don't remember that. But he goes into this movie theater and is moving from seat to seat because he's trying to find somebody, I think, that's supposed to get him out of Dallas. But, because he had some very interesting characteristics as a person who had actually defected from the United States to the Soviet Union, then came back from the Soviet Union, okay, and then may have been involved with these right-wing groups. I'm sorry?
Back in the USSA.
Back in the USSA from the USSR. And he comes back and he gets a job at the Texas School Book Depository building, and then has a scenario where he is the individual that is believed to have shot JFK 3 shots.
Was it a good job? Did he have benefits?
Good job. Okay. A police officer's salary was $5,800 a year. That's what Tippit was making, and that's 12 years on the job. Okay. So, the guy was working with that situation. He was making $490 a month, and that's a police officer. Okay. So I can't imagine a guy working in a book depository building is doing that much better. It's probably
what do you do?
The books go there, and then they're sent out to schools and things like that. So all of these school books come, and then they're cataloged, they're put in the boxes, and they're shipped to the local schools.
Would they see SRAs there too?
Is there what?
SRAs? Did you guys have SRAs?
No.
What's an SRA?
Scholastic Book Fair.
Oh, yeah, we had that.
But so now, if it is believed, and I don't have any reason to doubt, that Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy.
Would it blow your mind? Would it blow your mind if J.R. Ewing shot JFK? Dallas, and he controlled Dallas. That guy controlled the place.
Well, he didn't control it back in 1963, though.
Something coming.
At that point, he was just getting ready for I Dream of Jeannie.
True.
So his situation with regards to Lee Harvey Oswald, shoots the president, then takes a bus and a cab back to his rooming house. Now, how many assassins do you know take a mass transit to leave a crime scene? Very odd.
We did have one mass killer, one of the school shootings, who showed up in an Uber. So if you're mad enough to do something like that, whether it's a school shooting or taking out the leader of the free world, I don't know how much logic plays into all of that.
Well, public transportation, you're hiding in plain sight, though. There might be some benefit to that.
Yeah.
Well, so you've got a situation where the guy now comes back to the rooming house. He goes in. He takes his.
So a rooming house, is that like you just get a room and then?
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, it was a room. It was a room, and he had like a woman that ran the house. Okay, she's the one who sees him come back, run into his room, stay there for about 2 to 3 minutes, come out, and then it has the pistol. She didn't see
So it's
it.
like a shared. So it's like a shared bathroom. And
My dad lived in a rooming house, and he had a shared bathroom. And to me, that's that's over the line. Got to have a private bathroom.
well, let me tell you, I only one time in my life, once in my life, I stayed in because me and my friend, we were going to, after college, we went to Italy.
Oh, see, which one hospital?
Italy, and people said, "Oh, you're just staying in youth hostels." So
Hospital, right?
we didn't know. So we went to one for one night, and we were like, "Never again are we doing that. That is ridiculous." So we found a little hotel, and we just threw it on the credit cards, or whatever. Pay whenever. But like that whole shared bathroom experience with that's not working for me.
So now you have a scenario with regards to Tippett's coming down. He sees somebody. He stops him. The shots go off. This individual leaves the scene and then is allegedly found in the movie theater.
Right, it was found in the movie theater.
At Lee Harvey Oswald.
I thought he went back to the rooming house.
No, he went back to the rooming house after he allegedly shot Kennedy, got his pistol, and then left. Now, the interesting thing is this. Okay,
Wait, so he goes back home, then is on his way to the movie theater?
And that's why people are thinking at this time that he's going back to the rooming house. He comes outside, goes by a bus stop, looks around, and then starts walking. They think he was looking for a ride to get him out of Dallas. Now, a couple of minutes before he gets to the rooming house, a police car rides in front of his rooming house and honks the horn twice. This was his landlady said that. Honks the horn twice and then takes off. Now, she wasn't sure whether or not it was Tippett that was the police officer there that did this. And she claimed that she thought that there were two people in the car. But the car, well, I'm just saying.
I think I solved the problem. Sometimes when they would ride solo on Adam 12, they would put a hat on the other side, on the passenger side, so it would look like there were two police officers.
Well, they did do that they would put a shirt up on the thing to make it look like there was another person there. But she believed there was two, but still the two honks on the horn. Then the Tippett, by the way, was acting kind of odd the entire day. Okay, he leaves his house in the morning and says to his son, "No matter what happens today, remember I love you."
Wow.
Right?
What? Well, but I can see a police officer.
Remember to hug the children.
Whatever happens today, remember I love you. And his wife even said that was an odd thing for him to say. I've never said anything like that. Okay, and then he leaves. Now, around the time of the shooting, okay, he's in an area where it's not his jurisdiction, but he ends up there. There's a question as to whether or not he was dispatched there or not. There's some questions as to why he was there, and he's acting really weird. He sees a car. He rides alongside the car, cuts the car off, gets out, looks in the back seat of the guy's car, and in the space between the seats in the back, and then gets back into his vehicle and goes to a record shop. Goes in and says, "I need the phone," gets the phone, makes a phone call. It rings, according to the clerk, like 7 times, and then he hangs up the phone, slams it down, and heads out again.
Doesn't he buy any records?
He didn't buy any records. Next
a lot of
thing
great
you know,
records in 63, man. Got the Four Seasons, the Beatles, man.
Okay.
Up, everything's going on.
63, I don't know if Dallas, they would have had those yet, but maybe. But so the scenario is now he's driving along, okay, on 10th and at the intersection of 10th and Patterson. He then sees this individual, and stops. He's having a conversation inside the police car. The guy is leaning up against the police car on the passenger side. And then Tippett decides to get out of the car, gets out of the vehicle, walks around. This guy walks to the, around the car, pulls out his revolver and shoots Tippett 3 times and then puts the death blow to his head. 4 cartridges are discarded at the scene, which is very odd for a scenario with regards to any type of an assassin. All right. But he discards them and takes off. In doing so, he drops his wallet at the scene. And the wallet is not identified by the police department in their official reports. They don't mention the fact that there was a wallet there.
Was Lee Harvey Oswald's wallet?
Yeah, well, a wallet that has ID in it for an Alex Heidel and Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay. Now, Alex Heidel was the name that he used to order the rifle that was allegedly used to kill Kennedy. I believe it was, but the rifle that was used to kill Kennedy, and then the pistol that is used to kill Tippit.
So what name would he use when he was ordering like a pizza or something like that?
I don't know. He didn't order pizza. He didn't have a lot of money.
Well, did he have a reasonable, articulable suspicion when he approached the individual who shot and killed him?
Well, see, here's the thing. The question.
Stop.
Well, the question is this: if he thought it was the person that looked suspicious as to the persons that they were looking for with regards to the assassination of JFK, why wouldn't he radio that in for backup? Basic man.
They had a description of who they were looking for.
They did have a description. Yes, they did.
Okay. And
this guy.
How far from the assassination, the grassy knoll area, all of that is where?
It's about 3 miles.
Okay.
Okay, and it's 45 minutes after the assassination. Okay, so now the odd thing is that why is Tippit there?
His clothes when he went back to his place?
Well, see, now that's the thing. There was one jacket found at the school book depository. Okay, there is a jacket that is found at the scene of the Tippit murder. Okay, on the driveway of a church that is a known area for supporting the Cubans that are against Castro.
Now you're taking us deeper. Now he's taking us deeper, Jonesy.
And the jacket there is found, and it's identified as allegedly belonging to Lee Harvey Oswald. When Lee Harvey Oswald's wife looked at it, she said, "That's not his jacket. He never wore a jacket that color." And there was believe it or not, a dry cleaning tag inside the jacket that they couldn't identify as where it came from. But she said, because my husband didn't have the kind of money to spend to do dry cleaning of his jacket, I washed all of his jackets.
Was it a members only jacket?
It wasn't a members only jacket. It was not. Okay.
So it's
now wait a minute. So within the distance of within a short distance of where
he shut you down, Jonesy. He shut you down.
Because I want to just get this point out. They find a wallet. They don't report that they find the wallet. Okay, they don't. There's not one police report that says that there's a wallet. We would never have known that a wallet was found there, except that the wallet was still there when the news trucks came and videoed the area, and you can see the wallet there. Now, the question is where did that wallet come from? Turns out Lee Harvey Oswald had 4 wallets. And if we believe that there is a wallet found at the scene, okay, there's 5. They claim that they get his wallet out of his back pocket at the movie theater. That could not have possibly happened, because it would have been very odd for him to have the same IDs in the wallet found at the Tippit murder site, and then still have a wallet in his back pocket at the movie theater. All right, so it doesn't make sense.
Is there any other suspect?
Sinatra.
Yes. What?
Frank Sinatra.
He was not happy with JFK.
So let me backpedal.
I don't think he knew Tippit at all.
You're staying in a furnished apartment. It's a well-known fact that after you murder somebody, that you have to use the bathroom sometimes. You get a little nervous, right? So you get back to your furnished apartment, and somebody else is in the John, right? And you've got to move quickly. I mean, this Oswald guy, he didn't have much up here, did he?
No, he actually probably did have a lot up there, because he was involved in espionage, and he was involved in intelligence when he was in the Marine Corps.
Was he? And he was living in a rooming house with his wife?
No, he and his wife had they were split for a while. So he took this rooming house room, okay, just to let things cool down because things were going, they were having fights over money. They were having fights over,
he was spending all his money on this extravagant dry cleaning.
And that's just it. The dry cleaning situation is very, very suspicious. So
the reasons for the divorce were 1 hour Martinizing.
Yeah, you had 1 hour Martinizing? Wow.
So you end up having a scenario where people now are witnesses to the scene. Now, the police don't canvass the scene like they would ordinarily do. They take the testimony of like 3 to 5 people.
Let me ask you this. Was Fatty Arbuckle on the police force that was investigating all this? Because that's what
he was with the Keystone Police Force.
That was California.
Keystone cops from California. Because to me, this is why we don't know all the answers, because investigation of this was a total mess.
It was a mess. And what ended up happening was that there were people that said that there were 2 people involved with the killing of this police officer. There was another one that said that the individual was a heavyset guy with different color hair that he saw take off from the scene. And there were witnesses that gave testimony that it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald, who mysteriously...
Eyewitnesses are the worst. Jonesy, duck out of the screen real quick. Duck, Jonesy, duck. Al, what is Jonesy wearing?
A hat.
What else? Describe
sunglasses. Black shirt.
What color's the shirt?
Black.
What else did you notice about him? What else was he wearing?
It's got a beard.
Got a beard? You said he had glasses?
Had an earring.
Glasses.
Had an earring in his ear. And his glasses are white and black lenses.
Black lenses? Anything else about what he was wearing?
He's wearing a chain around his neck, too.
Okay, had a chain. We're looking for a man with a black shirt and a chain around his neck. Jonesy, please.
Now he's changing himself. Oh, look at that. See? He took off his hat. Now, don't play that game.
No, but he has no chain. Where's the chain?
But so with the...
What color's your shirt, Jonesy? Isn't it brown?
It's black with a gold...
Thank you.
It's a Guyabera.
Oh,
all right. It's a black shirt.
But he's not wearing glasses. He was
wearing glasses before, and he had a hat on before.
And he
took his chain off. See? No, I mean, I saw all that. But you're right. Eyewitness testimony is horrible. And in fact, the one person that they hang their hat on was a housewife who said that she spent 20 minutes with Tippett as he was lying there, and that he was talking, saying things and everything else. He had a bullet through his brain, and his brain was all over the street. I don't think he was talking at any point in time.
It took him 20 minutes to respond to an officer being shot?
Well, that's what she claims. It could not have possibly. They were there within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They were there within 3 minutes. Okay, but now, the interesting thing is this.
We're running out of time, Al. I mean...
Okay, well, here's an interesting thing. Okay, the only murder that Lee Harvey Oswald is arraigned on is the murder of J.D. Tippett. He's not arraigned for the murder of JFK. So the only murder that they had arraigned him for was J.D. Tippett. And that's an interesting point in and of itself. They didn't have enough evidence at that time to even arraign him on the murder of JFK.
So let me ask you this. Who shot J.D.?
It seems to me that Oswald was certainly involved. He had to have been. Okay. I think Oswald was planning to use a police escort to get out of Dallas, and that whoever was involved with him didn't want him to get out of Dallas. And so J.D. Tippett was instructed to get him out and then probably execute him. But that's what the theory is.
But Oswald took him out instead.
Oswald got smart and panicked that there was something going on there. If you remember, Oswald never admits to anything. Now, if you're a political assassin, the first thing you're going to do is crow about that you did this. He says, wait a minute, I don't know why you're asking me questions about JFK. I had nothing to do with that. And they're saying I shot a police officer. I did not do it. I'm a patsy. Okay.
Let me ask you this. Final question that I have. he got the job at the place where he was for the shooting, right? That's where he worked. Did he get the job before or after it was announced that JFK was going to be driving through town? Do we know?
I can't answer that because the situation with regards to Kennedy coming to Texas, had been known, obviously, but the routes and stuff would not have been known at that time.
That's right. Yeah.
And he had been, and JFK had gone to certain places in the morning and was going to another place, was going to a convention, okay, to speak at a convention. So the routes and stuff were not, in cement by any stretch of the imagination. So who shot JD? They tell me it was Lee Harvey Oswald. I have no reason to doubt that, but there are a lot of people out there that think that there's something wrong here. They also think that Oswald was trying to get to Jack Ruby's house, which was also, strangely enough, in the area.
Well, I'm an armchair detective here, and I think whoever was supposed to assist him, Oswald, in getting out, who clearly abandoned him, from the stories that you've told, theater, the car that wasn't there, isn't it possible that they killed JD?
Yeah, it's possible.
To eliminate him.
It's very possible they could have done that. But, unfortunately, Lee Harvey Oswald is murdered in front of America by Jack Ruby. And Jack Ruby never talked about what he knew because he wanted to be flown to Washington, D.C. to speak to the Warren Commission. He didn't want to speak in Dallas, and they refused to let him go. And he went to trial, and then he goes on a second trial, and then he has a heart attack and dies.
Jack Ruby, Jr.
Interesting.
So,
all right.
So, who shot JD? I know it wasn't me. I know it wasn't Vinnie. And, well, it could have been Jonesey. I'll talk to you later.